Hey, Dana. Hey, Lauren. Hey, Tracy. Yes, this nice area right here. Hey, Jet Dude. I was in Traverse City earlier, but now I'm back home. It's 9:25 here. The longest day of the year is coming up. So see if thunderstorms out in the future, out in the distance. I see this lady out here in her truck. Nice. Hey, Shirley. Oh, thank you, Shirley. Appreciate it. Hey, Kenneth. Oh, 9:18. Oh, good for you. You left than I do. There's a big, huge turtle here. I just saw it when I pulled in. He sticks his head out. It's a painted turtle. I don't know whether it's trying to lay eggs or what, but I've seen it. I saw it yesterday as well. Air cold. Oh, Handmaid's Tale. What's that? All these baby fish hatched and took off. Well, I shouldn't say hatched. I think they could be live bears. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. But I saw them swimming around, a big school of them, and I don't see the females protecting the nest. I don't know why you'd have a nest if you were a live bear. Ooh. Nicer, yep. Oh, you enjoying it? Good. No, mosquitoes aren't bad at all. Mosquitoes were bad about a week ago. I was someplace, man. They were just the worst, and I haven't really seen any since. Probably, no, although it is breezy, which helps. Hey, so get this. So, slot machines. I was going to get something to eat. Every restaurant out there, they're out of food. There's no place to park. The lines are crazy, so I just said, screw it. I'll just go to the casino. It was 75 degrees. Cloudy. Looked like rain in the back. So I backed up against, so the windshield didn't have any sun. Had the windows down. Water for the dog. And there's a good breeze. So believe me, I'm not stupid. I'm not, if there's any slight chance of it not being favorable conditions, I wouldn't have stopped. So I go in there, I'm gambling, and I'm there about like 10 minutes, maybe, and I see a security guard like coming up next to the machine I'm at. He's kind of looking around. You know, I'm like used to so much bullshit. You know, if it isn't a swatting call or a cop that doesn't understand what, there's nothing illegal about a dog on your lap or a glacier park ranger that thinks a camera on is dangerous. You know, I'm so used to having bullshit happen that I think, well, I wonder what this guy wants, right? Has one of these stalkers called the casino because I mentioned earlier I was going there. So he kind of goes away and nothing happens. I'm gambling. I lost about $5, won about 10, and I'm actually even. And the security guard comes up to me, reminded me of a young Freddie Prinze, and he says, question. I said, yeah, go ahead. He said, do you have a dog in a van? I said, I do. He said, well, you gotta go. It's like, why is that? He said, we don't allow unattended vehicles with pets in them. It's like, okay, if that's the policy, you can say you don't like that I don't have a full head of hair and make me leave. It's private property. As long as you don't discriminate by sex, race, or age, you can basically do anything. You could tell somebody, I don't like the color of your tennis shoes, get the hell out of here, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I go out there, and as I'm walking out there, I'm kind of pissed off, not that big a deal, and I'm thinking, this just really doesn't make sense. So I call the casino. At first I look on their website, and I can't find any policy anywhere about unattended pets at either location. So I call, somebody in management, nobody there. You can talk security. So I talk security. I said, hey, I was just asked to leave there because I had a dog in a vehicle that was unattended. The dog was sleeping on the dash. There's water, there's a breeze, not panning. What's the problem? Here's the animal cruelty. He said, it's a state law. I said, if it's a state law, what are you worried about? If you can go out there, the dog's not under any duress at all. What the law is intended to be is you got the windows out, the dog's panting, the cock comes out there, the key ingredient is the animal has to be under distress. So right away I know that this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. But you can tell me to leave. You don't really need to know what you're talking about. And I took off. So I called the sheriff's department. And I said, hey, what's your interpretation of a dog being under distress? He said, well, it's an individual call. I said, by who? And he says, well, it's by the deputy that shows up. I said, well, why don't you give me a summary of the policy? He said, there is no policy. I said, well, does the deputy have any special training? He said, I don't know. I'm not a deputy. I said, well, just imagine the criteria. And I told him the criterion out there. He said, no. He said, I don't know. It's an individual deal. So bottom line, they're misinterpreting the law and considering that animal cruelty when there was none. This is just how the world is nowadays. I get a ticket from a state trooper because I have a dog on my lap. And you know what? It's not against the law to have a dog on your lap in Michigan. Come here, Daisy. Not against the law. They tabled it one time. It was never even voted on. And even the state police acknowledged when they looked at the videotape, there wasn't any driving that indicating anything was unsafe. And they admitted that as soon as the cop turned his lights on, I pulled over. So there wasn't an obstructed view and there wasn't any dangerous driving. And why would you say I'm getting a ticket for a dog on my lap when there's no law? It's another thing. I'm out at Glacier National Park, driving through there. Driving through there. I see a park ranger. He turns his lights on, pulls me over. He said, do you know why I'm pulling you over? It's like, no, not really. You think I'm a serial killer from Detroit? And I've got 2 dead prostitutes in the back? He said, no. You were operating an electronic device while you were driving. He said, now I'm going to give you a chance to be straight with me. I said, I'll be straight with you. I want you to tell me how long you've been recording. I said, I'll tell you, 40 minutes. Now, I know how this game works, but I'm all ready to just tell the truth. I said, about 40 minutes ago, which is how long I'd been in the park, about 40 minutes ago, he says, that is egregious. So I thought, here we go. So, I'm waffling back and forth. Do I just take it in the ass? Do I argue? Do I try to explain to this idiot that there's nothing egregious about that at all because there was no danger? And I'm trying to contain myself. And I said, well, it wasn't egregious. It's the improper use of the word. He said, yeah, it was. I said, no, it wasn't. I said, so I come out here, I said, which is why it's not against the law anywhere else. And if there was any danger associated with my driving, I would have been perfectly fine with you writing me a ticket for careless driving, reckless driving, crossing the center line, distracted driving. But you're not writing me a ticket for any of those. And you know why you're not? Because I didn't do any of those. So as a law enforcement officer that's fiddly fucking around with his radio when he's driving behind people, that's looking at his speedometer, fucking around with God knows who knows what else, his cell phone. Do you consider that dangerous? He said, no. I said, well, it's an electronic device. Why is it okay for you and not me? And he said, look, I don't want to argue. I said, I don't want to argue either, but you're giving me a ticket. I said, how much is a ticket? He said, $300. It's like, yeah, you gotta be. He said, you know, I'm giving you a break. I said, what's the break? He said, it actually requires a court appearance to come back out here to Kalispell, Montana, to a federal magistrate, get arraigned, even though it's a civil charge. Can you believe this shit? It's not an arraignment, it's a booking deal. And then you'd have to come back here again if you wanted to dispute it. I said, great, like 30, what are we talking, like $3,500 to find the guy that's out here writing these goddamn tickets. And I'm saying that there was nothing dangerous. And if it was so dangerous, it would be a lot of other places, and it's not. This is just a money grab. This COVID stuff. He said, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. Now, I'm all fine with it. Anything's better than going back there again. $300 isn't the end of the world. Although I'm getting a ticket for something that has no danger at all. Zero, none, zip. But here's the thing that got me about that. Towards the end of the conversation, he says to me, how would you feel how do you think you'd feel if you saw somebody driving down I-75 in Detroit with a camera recording? I said, well, it doesn't matter how I feel because there's nothing illegal with it. If somebody was swerving around lanes and doing crazy shit, well, I think they should get pulled over and charged. And he said, well, I don't see it that way. So it kind of gets a little better. He keeps telling me I'm getting a break. I said, how do you know about I-75 going through Detroit? He said, I grew up there. I said, oh, okay. And where did you go to college? He said, I went to the University of Michigan. I said, okay. What'd you major in? He said, criminal justice. Well, you want to know something? The University of Michigan doesn't have a criminal justice program. Right down the street where I went does, Eastern Michigan University, but the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, does not have a criminal justice program. So the point is, this guy lied for no reason. I don't know whether he wanted to impress me or what in the hell it was, but it just, you know, I'm on the verge of just withdrawing from everything because of constant, nonstop, dummied down bullshit. Over COVID, I go to Detroit Metropolitan Airport and I'm taking pictures and there's nobody there. There's 3 other guys up on the roof taking photographs. So I think I'm going to be courteous because there's the lens that I have. It's a 500 millimeter. And for some do-gooder that's either, you know, going to save the world and call dispatch and tell them there's a guy on the roof with a bazooka, I figured I'd head this off at the pass and tell them, hey, look, I'm up here taking photographs. Here's my driver's license. Here's my phone number. Here's my plate number. Here's my vehicle. And I just don't want someone to see this big lens and make a big deal out of it. So I'm calling to let you know. He said, can you hold on a second? It's like, uh-oh. Yeah, I can hold on a second. Now, mind you, there's... He comes back and he says, well, the lieutenant wants you to leave. It's like, for what reason? He said, well, it's COVID and we're just trying to thin down people around the airport that don't need to be here. I said, well, you know, nobody's on the parking lot but 3 other guys on the other end taking photos. I'm not outside. I'm not near anybody. I'm not going to run into anybody. I'm not going in the terminal. I'm not walking up to... He said, it doesn't matter. So I left because I just didn't want any more controversy. And the other 3 guys that didn't do what I would consider the right thing by being courteous and letting them know, hey, I'm up here, I'm doing this, they stayed to continue to take pictures. So everything is just turning into a clusterfuck. That stupid psycho Amish lady mixed me up with someone driving a white Jeep. I had nothing to do with that. This was all tracked down later, but the stupid dispatcher allows her to talk about 2 instances on 1 phone call and then sells her on trespassing me, even though I wasn't the guy, what she claimed was doing and chasing down these young girls taking photos. I wouldn't do some shit like that. So it's just been one thing after another for the last couple of years, either trying to head something off of the past when I wasn't doing anything wrong to begin with, or just listening to a idiot misinterpret the law and not understand the difference between a pet in a vehicle with a rolled up window that's panting that looks like he's going to die, and a guy that's had dogs his whole life with the windows down in a shaded area with a bowl of water and a dog that's not panting that was sleeping on the dash like you see her doing so often. It's just been too many incidents in a row. Now, I'm not going to make a big deal of this with this place because it's not going to get you anywhere. It's a waste of time. But I just gave you some examples of this bullshit, and I'm about ready to just start withdrawing from everything because of that. Those are examples where nothing was done wrong, and I tried to do the right thing. I did my due diligence. I prepared, and I was still fucked around. Seriously, it's getting that way. Hey, Stephanie. She's over here walking around right now. But it's just, I gotta explain and dumb down and spoon feed to a security guard that the dog's got water, the dog's in the shade, it's 76 degrees. This is not animal cruelty, moron. This is the problem. In my condo association the other day, it's a whole new group of people. Of course, they know everything. I avoid those meetings like the plague. The last lady that was here before, she really kept things in order. She was CFO to the hospital. So we got this landscaping thing, and you know how it is. They cut the grass and all this bullshit. So if you look, people want to wonder why my chats are so dark compared to last year. I can tell you why. All 8 units have one of the bushes that have grown completely over the 2 side windows that are on each side of the front picture window. Okay? Now I could take a 4-year-old and offer him a popsicle and ask him, what doesn't look right to you here, Sonny? Is there something that just doesn't look right among these 8 units? And he would probably say, yeah, I don't think those bushes are supposed to completely cover one of the 2 windows next to the picture window at your condominium. And he would be exactly right. So the other day I saw the second or third in command of the head fucking thumb twiddler. And I said, hey, it's no big deal, but you're on the landscaping thing, aren't you? Yeah, I said, yeah, is there something I can help you with? Yeah, that's why I brought it up. There is something you can help me with. I said, believe it or not, those bushes are not supposed to completely cover one window. That's why we live in condos. That's why we have a maintenance service. And this isn't just a few leaves growing up. This is an entire bush. But because I live there and these people work and I don't, I even offered to trim these bushes, which would probably take a while. And he was going to check into it. And I see we got a group email the other day after I brought this up a couple weeks ago. Not the end of the world. No big deal. But our landscaping watchdogs never noticed that a bush was completely covering one of their windows, even though they live there too. It's just one thing after another. No, it's just one crazy thing after another. I mean, these are just examples, and there's other things too, stupid little things like that. But I'm about ready to get to the point where I'm just going to not do anything. I'm going to come to a place like this where nobody has any authority to do anything. And that way I don't need to worry about someone coming over and, thinking I'm feeding the fucking fish the wrong food or something. I mean, this is what it's coming to. Yeah, everything is like this. These kooks that I've met on YouTube. It's no secret to people. I mean, some are always in the drama. Some sell themselves as keeping an eye out for me. And that's why they know everything about these stalkers and these copycats and these harassers. They find some way to be in the mix of this bullshit constantly. So, of course, I get a few screenshots of the Indiana lunatic stalker wanting to... This is one big misunderstanding. This is how nuts this lady is. There's no misunderstanding at all. All you got to do is listen to those phone calls. There are a bunch more of them that I'm going to upload as long as this lunatic keeps talking this way. Now, crazy as it sounds, one ray of shining light that the world isn't completely fucking mad and I'm just not the world's biggest idiot was, believe it or not, you're going to laugh, but a phone call from Bobbles last night. Yep, this is the best thing that's happened to me in a while. Because even though she didn't like me and I didn't like her, in the presence of people in a live chat, you guys got to see things hashed out. This is how things are supposed to work. Not everything she wanted, not everything I wanted. It's a settlement, an agreement. It's not perfect, but we agreed to it and we're moving on. That is the best story that I can come up with, that I can think about in the last year or two, is Bobbles calling me and having a civil conversation and remedying things that we didn't see eye to eye on. No shit. Now you can say, well, the bar is set high, the bar is set low. You can call it whatever you want. But I honestly feel that way. This has been a bright point in conflict in the last year and a half. I mean, it's unbelievable. This is how everything is nowadays. It's one crazy, nutty scenario after another. I already don't go to these coffee shops anymore, because here's a mistake that I've made, and I've certainly made it on YouTube more than once, trying to get better. And that is getting to know some of these people where I frequent. I get a coffee, and before you know it, they're fucking whatever, and I help them out, I get to know them, I don't hang out with them, I do them favors, I find long lost fucking relatives, I give them advice from experience that I've had. And you know what, I'm not doing that anymore either, because it got to the point where wherever I would go, it would be fucking 3 people coming over there wanting to talk about some stupid shit, even though I had an open newspaper and I was trying to read it. So I'm really, I'm sure part of this is getting older, but it's just, nothing is that fun anymore. Everything is just a giant clusterfuck. I mean, in a way, and I talk about this all the time, there's a silver lining, and there is, because this lunatic from Indiana did me a favor in that I'm not meeting people from YouTube anymore. I'm about ready to just cut off the comment section on everything too, because then I don't need to babysit it. You can't leave a comment. There'll be no dialogue. You think, fucking Sally is the world's biggest manipulating idiot, or what do you feel sorry for and like to help? You're not going to be able to comment on it. And it's from this constant babysitting of deleting negative comments, keeping people from saying negative things about struggling addicts. It's the old adage, and I titled one of the videos the other day, "No good deed goes unpunished." Even if you don't like me, you would have to realize that on even Sharon, once I figured out what was going on, I was just happy to walk away, do my own thing, and take down her videos. It's like, why would you take down her videos? First of all, there goes the argument on your views and I'm making money. You know, you couldn't buy lunch with the money that I've made on a Sharon video. The reason that I took down the videos is because a lot of the people that she was duping, conning, and lying to, she met through my site. And that's not a good feeling. And you can see where her channel turned to. Same with Angie. I'm just done. I just had it. So in a way, they did me a favor. This was probably inevitable anyway. But I'm just trying to like reduce my exposure to like what you would think would just be a fun experience that isn't any longer. Yeah, you're probably right, TM. Yeah. No, I don't know how you do your job either, air cooled. It's just got to be one Beverly Hillbilly after another, you know, coming through. And then you got to act nice. And then if you take their fucking machete away from them, you know, you're discriminating. And I mean, I can't imagine what you go through. I can't believe there would ever be enough money to compensate you properly from either not going into a psychiatric ward or having a nervous breakdown just by the bullshit you've got to deal with on a daily basis. Hey, Katie. Yeah, it's just like nuts. And I explained the other night, this older woman that wanted me to manage her animal thing in Indiana. Not doing it. I don't even call her back anymore. The lady that gave me Daisy, I haven't returned about 20 phone calls over the last 5 years and she still calls. Maybe I was better than I am now about, you know, seeing that there were potential, you know, problems. I mean, it gets to the point now where I look on my caller ID and I cringe, even though most people don't have my number. Or I check my messages, or I look at some of these emails I get where I was dumb enough to provide my email for someone that I thought maybe I could help out. And it just turns out to be just like a stalking fest with nude pictures, video clips, weird requests. Yeah, I'm just like totally burnt out on everything. Yep. It's just nuts, man. Everything. I turned off my cable maybe 6-8 months ago because really there wasn't anything on there I watched other than Forensic Files. I watched every episode a million times. I only like it when Peter Thomas is the narrator. I like American Greed, but you know, they'll run the same college scandal thing going on 3 episodes in a row. I used to like the first 48, but there is an argument for trampling over suspects' due process. There really is. Well, you know, you still have rights, even though you've convicted them while you're sitting with your dragon milk, your late potato chips. In the real world, that's not supposed to matter what you think, and it's supposed to be adjudicated properly. And due process is part of that. You may not like what the people did, and it may be pretty evident that they're guilty, but they're still entitled to their rights. That's what got Dateline and To Catch a Predator taken off. I mean, what a savage fest. Come here, Daisy. Come here, hon. What a savage fest. No rights. You got Chris Hansen, who's the biggest loser that ever lived. Come here, hon. Showing up at people's doorsteps with the police. I mean, you crazy? Let's go by. Which is why the show's not on any longer. And his true colors eventually came to light. Bouncing checks, screwing around on his wife, and God knows what else. I had Roku. I had a, I've got a smoking internet connection. Roku's great when you're watching a rerun of the Beverly Hillbillies, but when there's something on there where more than 3 people in your condo unit are watching it, it buffers a lot. I didn't like the selection of what they had anyway. I had Roku. I had a couple things. I had DirecTV. Then I had Charter. Before you know it, I had 14,455 channels, and there was still nothing interesting to watch. I liked the original crab guy, fisherman up in Alaska. Then the good guys died, and the kids, like everything, right? The people that replaced him, it just wasn't as compelling, as interesting, like when Phil is on and those kind of guys, and just so that's where I'm at. Yeah, you can catch it on YouTube. Yeah. But I mean, obviously, look, you can't be going around trying to date 13-year-old girls that you're thinking you're meeting when their parents are on vacation. Super wrong. I get it. But tagging along Chris Hansen doesn't make things better. And if you ever pay attention to these guys, it's runs the gamut. It's all walks of life. You got doctors and pizza delivery guys and PhDs, but by and large, a lot of these people are just lonely, mentally ill, desperate people. And if you caught them on another night, they may have been going over to an 85-year-old lady's house, trying to have sex with her while they ate a pizza. You know, the old adage is, when you're out, the federal government's famous for it. When you want to get somebody, you leave the microphones on. And when there's somebody you like that you want to stay in office, you turn the microphones off. Hey, Shaniqua. Yeah. Yeah, it's nothing good on. Hey, Shaniqua, how you doing? I mean, it's crazy. Hey, Carmen. Yeah, I don't really see anything that great. Yeah, I've even got so tired of watching YouTube. You know, by the time you end up like doing your own videos and babysitting the channel and doing a live or two a day, there's not much time left for like YouTube. YouTube too, YouTube will let somebody take a dead girl's photo that they've swiped off one of my videos, and you can complain until your dick falls off. Complain, and so did the fiance. You can call me a serial killer, a murderer, a rapist, a pervert. No problem at all. But let me upload a video where I'm telling the truth, and you get the yellow dollar sign. Not suitable for most advertisers. But me being a killer, rapist, stalker, and yeah, it really is. Yep, they don't do a thing about it. You can't get a hold of anybody there. Uh, it's super frustrating. That's why I guess you're supposed to get some plaque when you get 100,000 subscribers. I didn't even apply for the goddamn thing. I don't want it. Yeah, buffering helps you. No, I'm completely aware of slander and libel and defamation, and the answer is no. Because you have to prove damages. That's the big key. Most people that suggest these things just don't have any idea of what it requires to be successful. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not going to sue anybody just to make them spend $35,000 getting out of it. I'm all for that. But the notion of collecting a penny from these losers is a fantasy. No, this is just stuff that the people dream up, that they don't know what they're talking about. It's the same thing with recording phone calls. Everybody gets it confused with eavesdropping. I can tell some of these people 20 times and they still don't get it. So I just quit trying to explain it. This is why some judges don't want lay people representing themselves. Yeah, they'll tell you have the right to represent yourself. This is America. Yeah, you do. But if you've got a judge that's a grouchy old bastard that's a couple years away from retirement, he's going to make you jump through every possible hoop there is because he doesn't want to have to babysit you and, listen to you ask inappropriate things at inappropriate times. He doesn't want to have it be a Jerry Springer show, which is what a lot of these cases turn out to be when people don't have attorneys. Not only did I get that ticket that I didn't deserve for Daisy, I got a bad judge. I really did. This guy was an absolute moron. I settled later on with another judge. It was a complete gentleman. Look, I'll give you this example. So I get this ticket. You can look up the statute yourself. I got a ticket for a dog on my lap. As I said a million times, I know Bobbles, I'm repeating myself. It's not against the law to have a dog on your lap. I go into court and I've got this pissed off Italian fucking asshole that's been a judge since he had his first hair, and he's connected, and once they're voted in, you're not doing anything to these people, prosecutors included. So he's probably 3 or 4 years away from retirement. He's slowly upped the ante on treating people the way that he felt like. It wasn't anything out of the box that you could actually get him in trouble with. He was just an ignorant, big-mouthed jerk that was going to run it like, and there was nothing you could do about it. So I get in front of this big, stupid ass, and I said, well, he brings the officer. He gets up. I saw Mr. Reed. He's driving down the road. He's got a dog on his lap. And I pulled him over, and I fucking gave him this ticket. Even though I was texting, and I have a criminal record in Ohio, but I'm still a Michigan State trooper. That's what I did. The judge said, okay, Mr. Reed, said, how about you? I said, well, Your Honor, it's not against the law to have a dog on your lap. And he kind of stops for a second. And I said there was no driving associated with carelessness, recklessness, crossing the yellow line, cutting anybody off. Even on an audio tape that I'd be glad to play it to. He said, I'm not interested in listening to any audio tape. I said, well, how about the photos that I show you? It's a big van. There's a long place to see. I could see out both side view mirrors. And on the same video that was in the police, said, I'm not watching any video. I'm thinking, here we go. He doesn't want it. So I said, so you don't want to see any of my evidence that this ticket shouldn't have been written to begin with? He said, no. He said, as a matter of fact, what if the dog had to go to the bathroom? I said, what if he did? He said, well, that could have caused an. I said, that's ridiculous, man. You're bringing up stuff that didn't even happen. How about if we deal with facts, which is the reason we're supposed to be here? What if? What if an elephant had wings? You know, this is just getting nuts. He said, well, I don't think it's a good idea to have a dog. I said, I don't care if you think it's a good idea or not. It's not illegal, and that's not your job. You're not a legislature. He said, well, I'm finding you guilty. If you don't like it, go ahead and appeal it. So I did. Yeah, so again, just one more example of this bullshit that's out there. Not kidding you. Yeah. I'm serious, man. It's just the way it is anymore. And luckily, there's the other guy was like, you know, a professional guy. I can take losing, but I don't want to hear that kind of bullshit. It's not a Judge Judy show. This is from a judge. It's crazy. Oh yeah, no, she would have been even worse. Judge Judy. That shows that shows entertainment. It's got nothing to do with right and wrong. If she can't scream at you or make somebody look like an idiot, that it's not going to be a highly rated show. You know, that's actually civil binding arbitration. It's no bailiffs taking you for contempt. It's all a big act, fake courtroom. It's a civil contract. And a lot of those shows, they agree to pay the dollar amount to the plaintiff, whether they win or whether they lose. Not all of them. So basically, when you get selected to be on one of these clown fests, everybody is being compensated whether they win or lose. Which is why when they cart you off to the side and say, hey, Tom, you know, you just got tarred and feathered and a $5,000 fine. What do you take on that? It's like, well, you know, I respect the system because I'm not really that pissed. I stayed in a 5-star hotel. I got to eat nice. I was out in LA or New York, wherever it was, and they paid the plaintiff. It's not coming out of mine. You got to make a fool of me for about 12 minutes, but you know what? It was worth it. That's why people aren't knocking out the bailiff and trying to strangle Judge Judy, because you know you're going to win even if you lose before you show up. Yep, you are. It's not like real court. It's civil binding arbitration. That's it. I mean, you could go on. See, in the shows where, you know, people just have enough of it and they lose their cool, you don't see those. It's the same shows where someone wanted to go up and tear off the clicker and strangle Alex Trebek with it. You don't see those shows either. These producers they know what they're selling, and you're not going to see some of these episodes go haywire because the people just thought this is just getting too insulting. You know, I know that this was a good experience. I've never been to New York City or LA before, but you're not going to make a bigger fool of me than you already have for this dollar amount. So when they tell her to fuck off, nothing can be done. Yeah. Judge Judy made, and the popularity of that show is just a mind blower. I think she was the highest paid TV show person for a while. So, you know, it's just like YouTube money. If you know what they're paying you, what are they making? But that's fine. I think it's a Judge Judy created a demand. And there's enough brain dead people out there to get pleasure out of that. Hey, Indigo. Yeah, it's nice out here tonight. Yep. No, I never even checked into her because I don't really care. I mean, I know what's going on there, and it's got nothing to do with the legal system. It's a clown fest. Oprah way richer, Oprah way richer, but Judge Judy was getting like 60 million a year or something. Yeah, Oprah has crazy money. Yeah. You know, but I'm not necessarily that translates into happiness. You know, look at Bill Gates. This, what is it, 50,000 square foot home or some crazy, insane thing like that. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense, man. I mean, I don't think that buys happiness. I'm sure for the first year and he was married and he was screwing his wife on the chandelier and banging her in a different pool every night and having escargot and lobster tails while they watched reruns of the Three Stooges. I'm sure there was a time there where it was a lot of fun, but that material stuff it doesn't last long term. No, yep. Yeah, 24, like Donald Trump, you know, 24 karat gold toilet seats. Come on. No. Now, money is nice, and you do need it. And having a place to go, you know, with heat and water and a bed is nice. But I think when you start getting off into these, houses and stuff. No, no, I'm not. I don't want to go anywhere right now. Yeah, they're villainizing him now. The media is on him full time. Bill Gates. He's not going to be able to go anywhere now. She's the, tormented housewife, and he's just the abusive nerd that they're trying to pitch now to the public that he was hitting on everybody all day long, way before he started dating her. But she sold out too. I mean, come on. I mean, she knew what she was signing up for, and it just got to the point where she couldn't take it anymore. Jeff Bezos' his wife too. She seems like a class act. Well, yeah, Gates was linked to Epstein, but I don't see any evidence of, Gates being involved in all that young girl stuff. Now, not true for Bill Clinton and Alan Dershowitz and Prince Philip. Those guys were over there on some of those parties. That's a fact. Yeah, Prince Andrew. Yeah, Prince Andrew. Yep, not Prince Philip. Prince Andrew. Yep. That thing is still, there's something not adding up there either. And I was living in Florida, which was 20 some years ago. They were trying to get him. There's a girl, too, that got immunity in New York. She used to use the name Gulfstream girl, but Gulfstream sued her, and she had to quit using it. But you can find Nadia Chaprinka or something like that, a real good-looking model, but supposedly she was lining up. She got immunity in New York, but they weren't going to give it to her in some of these other jurisdictions. And it just, nothing seems to be happening there. No, I didn't watch it, no. Oh, did you like that, Dan? Yeah, I never watched any of those. I don't really have any interest in that. This Meghan and Prince Harry and even the other one, I could care less. I find that lifestyle super boring. Yeah, it seems like a cola. Yep. Oh, are they a bunch of whiners, huh? Whatever happened to Fergie? What's she up to? Hey, and by the way, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Did Casey Anthony's dad die? Is the mother and father still around, or did one or both of them die? Oh, he did. She did, huh? How long ago and of what? No, Simke, you said yes, and Lauren says they're still around. Oh, the father. Okay. Oh, both of them are alive. Oh, okay. I thought the dad died, but I guess not, huh? Hey, Kim, how you doing? Some mosquitoes are coming out now. I guess there was an issue with Casey Anthony the other day. Somebody threw a drink on her someplace. You can expect that's going to happen. Oh, okay. Yeah, he probably didn't then. He probably didn't. Oh, okay. Yeah, wait, just mosquitoes just came out. Take it easy. You too. Oh, did you really? Oh, no kidding, huh? Yeah, that was unfortunate. But, you know, that's the way the system works. You had enough fruitcakes in the mix to, and most importantly, you had a bunch of people that hated police. As it turns out, when they interviewed the jurors later, they were pissed off from having that much of their lives taken up for $20 a day, and they were cop haters. They didn't like cops. Yeah, they were brain dead. They really were. OJ's too. But I'll tell you, man, I just know enough about life that their lives are shit. The only difference is we're talking about the Casey jurors. Yeah, super idiot, brain dead. I think brain dead would be a step up. I'm gonna buffer a little bit here until I turn left. Fucking bright lights off, asshole. Now, any of you guys, anybody out there want to do a call in with me tonight? That was fun. I would have been doing those a long time ago, but I didn't think that you could hear it very well. Yeah, I know. Yep. Yeah, right. Yeah, you're right about that. I'm telling you, I believe in karma. I sure do. I really believe in it. Didn't you interview with Angie? Shannon, didn't you do an interview with Angie? You would do it? You want to do one? How'd that turn out? Here's what you think. I wish you'd get a facelift. Yeah, you know, it's almost like people seem to be disappointed when prostitution isn't connected to drug addiction. No kidding. I don't like that StreamYard, really. I don't want to have all these people on there at once. That's why I want to do something different in the fall. Because, you know, I'm just getting kind of turned off on YouTube. Oh, thank you, Hank. You drinking again? It makes sense then. Traverse City, I stopped at a couple places. Most there was too long a line. Some they'd run out of food. The others you had to have a reservation because they didn't want people coming in off the street and then not having enough food for the people that made reservations. I mean, I didn't like it, but I agreed with it. I thought it was a pretty smart strategy. Hey, Christine. Oh, you did? What happened? Oh, yeah, she could have, yeah. She's desperate now. She's doing anything she can. Nobody's watching. Three-second video of a hot dog, 900 views. Angie's interview, 140. Pay attention, Lauren. Pay attention. Yeah, Coney dogs, they're not really into those. They call them that, but they're different places. Look at this. Big Boy closed. Wendy's closed. Rally's closed. Burger King closed. Ponderosa closed for good. Culver's closed. Aldi's closed. Nothing's open anymore. It's like the 50s. $3.12 for gas. I got it for $3.11 in Grayling. What a savings, a penny a gallon. I'm heading home. I just took Daisy for another swim. Yeah, they do. Walmart stays open till 11, which isn't bad. I'm telling you, we would be so screwed here with Walmarts. Our family fair just closed. No great loss. Yeah, I almost went there, but I went to so many places to try to get something to eat and then got jacked out of my gambling. I was just in a pissed off mood. Or I would have ate at Ray's Blues and Brews. Yeah, it's true. Yep. I mean, the good news is it's getting cool at night, so it's nice to sleep. Oh, did you? I got a grill a couple weeks ago. I used it quite a bit. Yeah. I'd even take a call from one of my enemies tonight. I wouldn't want to talk to Debbie. She's just so boring and not worth it. I wouldn't want to talk to Angie. It's just like interviewing a sponge. Nitty, nah. Nope. Yeah, but I thought Bobbles actually did a pretty good job of, she has the capacity to rationalize. Angie would be so super boring. I would offer a contest though, where I would do, what's that thing, StreamYard, where I would offer $100 and Angie competed with a 4-year-old in a spelling bee. I will offer that. No, she would lose, definitely. I mean, even when the question mark comes up and it says, "Did you mean this?" That still doesn't make any sense to her. Oh, it's that. I had a girl that grew up down the street from me, moved to Sacramento. Her parents were like the biggest crazy right-wing conservative Catholics that lived. And she got married right out of high school and got divorced 6 months later, and it just, things were never the same. So she moved out to Sacramento. Yeah. The parents are both dead now. The mom just died a couple years ago. Yeah, that just killed it. I mean, the parents just rode her ass forever about being a Catholic girl and only being married for 6 months. And the reason that they got divorced is because the husband put the moves on the sister while they were painting. Hey, but don't say bad things about. I agreed to a truce with Bobble, so don't say anything negative about her. If you do that, I'll delete you. Matter of fact, delete that comment. Don't block her, but delete her. But delete the comment. Hey, 4Q2. Right. Oh, hey, Jeannie. Hey, Terry, how you doing? No, the basement is, though. Garage has got a Toyota Sienna van in it. Sorry you got in a wreck, Christine. Yep. Yep. Good. Oh, yeah, that's too bad. How's your channel doing? No, it's not too bad. But, you know, in the old days, you would check your brakes so you didn't need to get new rotors. They'd turn the rotors, but that's almost obsolete now. Now, when you get a brake job, they do the rotors anyway. The rotors are so cheap now compared to the old days, so don't worry about it. Yeah, she's tired. Yep. Yeah. Good. That's pretty good. Yeah, good for you. Cool. Oh, good for you. Yeah. It looked like it was going to rain today, but it didn't. Yeah. Oh, do they, Tony? Well, I think I'm going to sign off for you guys. I hope you have a good day tomorrow. Well, good rest of your night. Hey, Andrea. Yeah, Daisy had a good day today. Good night, Rod. All right, Terry. Yep. See you later. Hey, Lord Alden. Yep. See ya. See ya, Simca. Bye, Lauren. Good night, Jennifer. See you, Shannon. See you, Jay. See you, Cola. See you, Jeff. Oh, that's a good idea, Christine. Yeah, sorry that happened to you. All right, Jeannie. Yep. Yes, thank you. Same to you. You have a good night.